Oh, yeah. All right, people are starting to join. I wonder if this is a good place. Hey, Scott. How's it going? Good morning. Melinda's there. No doubt. No doubt, everybody. First, too, let me apologize sometimes if I'm moving around a lot in some of these live videos. Uh, a lot of times I'm doing these live videos on walks through the woods, or when I'm walking around at certain sacred locations. So also, when I do videos, I don't know, I guess I'm a little bit crazy like that, but when I'm very empathic, and I hate to use the word psychic, but unfortunately we need words to label things. But when I do live videos, or I'm around a lot of people in general, or I'm connected to a lot of people, I hear a lot of chatter. I could pick up, you know, certain energies, even like the feeling of certain people, and it can distract me. So a lot of times, if I pace, like if I walk around a little bit, it sort of helps push all that away. You know, this is one of the main reasons why I eventually got into crystals and tensor tools. Although pretty much all my life I knew about crystals and herbal remedies and all of this, right? It's been passed down through generations, but I never really thought about applying it to my life, until I got it like to be like a teenager. As a kid, you don't really think about all that. And there's been times where, I had to make that choice to start having tensor tools and something a little bit like, something a little bit more to enhance even crystals, something a little bit more, and not just on faith alone, but your faith being enhanced by real scientific help, right? And that's what the tensors do as well. That whatever your faith and your intent is, it enhances that, and it'll protect that from being tainted. So that's what it's really amazing for. And I don't know if you guys got to hear my show on Leak Project. I think he posted it yesterday afternoon. I think it was when we were in the chat. I had recorded it the night before. And if you guys there, if my 4,000 subscribers start to see this or whatever over, I've been suppressed on here, so my views get suppressed. I actually got an email from YouTube like a year or two. It was like a while ago now, but it was like a year or two ago, saying they can't even explain why my subscribers and my views are significantly higher than what's showing. So I'm sure a lot of it gets suppressed, but I basically, if you guys haven't checked out the show that I did like that they posted yesterday, go check that out, because I talked about some things, but Rex had put the edited version up. The full version is up on his website. So some of the stuff, like I talked about, I don't think you got the whole explanation, because at the beginning he put a little caption of me talking about having an astral attack. Now, I have had what somebody would label an astral attack before in my life, but I haven't had one in years now because of the tensor, and it's mainly because of the tensor tools and the crystals that have been forming a boundary around my spirit and my physical body, around my dreams, around my home, around my personal space. And there has been times when I've woke up, and I know if you go to the doctor or psychiatrist or any doctor, they'll tell you, oh, it's a form of sleep paralysis. But there's a difference of sleep paralysis and I don't think sleep paralysis was ever really explained anyway. Well, just they're telling you what your body and your mind are waking up at different times, right? But how does that, and they said, oh, you know, so one of the side effects is hallucinations and this and that. Yeah, but like, yeah, so that's a side effect of what's happening, but how do you explain what's transpiring? It's one thing if you say, you know, oh, I thought a UFO was there because in between of me waking up, you know, my body and mind was waking up at different times, so my body was kind of stuck, but my mind was running, and I saw bright lights, and I thought it was a UFO or something. I can understand that being explained away, like, because maybe being, you know, your body is still sort of like asleep and your mind's waking up, and there might be bright lights in the room, or there might be a light on in the room, like a lamp or something like that. That could be explained for your mind having a little bit of a hallucination around the light phenomena that's going on, right? But how do you explain when you literally are, you know, you feel hands on you, you feel, you know, you're actually experiencing like full awareness of what's transpiring around you, but yet your body is stuck because, and sometimes there's actual other entities in the room, right? So there have been times when I woke up in my life where I woke up and I could not move, I could not scream, and my arms felt like there were two hands holding down my wrists, putting, you know, putting my wrists against the bed, where I was pinned down like this, you know, where I tried to get up, and something that felt like it had three arms, literally, because my two arms would be pinned down, and then something was like holding down my chest or your face. So it feel like I'm trying to raise up out of bed, and something really pushing my physical body down, and then it felt like two arms were pulling out my spirit or my astral body or soul. So it felt like there was like three arms pushing me down, holding me down, and maybe more, because my legs, you know. So it's like my legs were pinned, my arms were pinned, and my face and chest were pinned. And also, something felt like it was pulling literally my spirit out of my body, and I had to like fight my way back in and scream, shake and scream my way out of it and raise up into my, I even felt my energetic bodies like come back into me and fight my way out of it, you know, literally, like there's something holding me down physically and then ripping the spirit or soul or astral body out, trying to like literally pull something out of you. And for a minute, you can't scream, you know, you can't call for help, and you're fully aware of what's going on, though. You just can't get it out, and you try, and it feels like if you don't shake your head or or be able to move, that you're gonna die. It literally feels like that, and I had to like use every ounce of strength I have to force my way back out of it and scream like literally fought my way out of it, right? So, you know, the last time that happened was about 5 years ago, and it happened, you know, I'm not saying it happened a lot in my life, but there was like 3 or 4 times in my life where that happened. And about 5 or 6 years ago, I first started getting into, I mean, I always was into the crystals pretty much my whole life, but about 5 or 6 years ago, I started getting into the tensor tools, orgone, frequency generators, things like this, you know, and I that's why I sort of made that decision to go into that. And now this is what I do full time, you know, because I had to draw a line, no more. Like, I couldn't have my space invaded like that, especially when you are asleep and you're the most vulnerable, right? Yeah, guys, thank you for the show for watching Lee Project. If you guys haven't watched that, go check it out, get the views up, because there's you know, it all matters about, you know, I'm a pretty regular guest there. I pretty much go on once a month now, but I've been going on for like 5 years on and off or more, and some shows will get hundreds of thousands of views, some shows will get 6,000 views, you know. So It all depends on what time slot, what tagline is written there, and the algorithms of YouTube of what's there. So definitely go check that out, because it helps, you know, it helps have me more on more frequently, I guess you could say, because I have my own show as well on Saturday nights on the Truth Frequency Radio Network. I don't know if you guys realize that, but I do a show pretty much, you know, some months I'll take like 1 week off. So I'll do at least 3 shows a month, because I do every Saturday night, but I try to do all 4 if I can. But a lot of times I do the show by myself for 2 hours, and a lot of times I have a guest. So, and I have a few regular guests, but I usually try to get the best I can find in their field. Usually, sometimes it's not that, but you know, I do find some very interesting guests, especially, you know, I even had the Sun Yogi from India on twice, where he's literally fed off the sun for like a few years, and like walked around India. So I thought it would be interesting to interview him. He was pretty interesting. I've had a lot of people on over the years. I've been doing shows for years already, so guys that are just finding me from Leak Project, thank you. Love from the UK. Yeah, no doubt with Solaris. Yeah, I've had Solaris on. I mean, I don't agree with everything everyone says on my show, but I agree with most of it. And I know Solaris has gone through some real interesting timelines. So she's interesting to talk to and have on. She's been a friend of mine for about 5 or 6 years or more now too as well. So a lot of these people that I have on, I've met when I started doing radio shows and interviews several years ago. You know, I've been getting interviewed for the last pretty much 10 years here and there. So you can find a lot out there, and of course, over the years, sometimes things change, like your views on things, and sometimes you watch the older videos and be like, oh man. But you know, you evolve as we grow older, and some of the videos I do on YouTube right here, I will make private afterwards, and I only post them back on Patreon. Some of my most recent videos I've done have been I put on private. There's like the last 3, so you guys will have my most recent videos on there from like a week or 2 ago. But I've done few, you know, more recent ones that I've put on private, that I put on Patreon. So if you guys want to support me on Patreon, it's patreon.com/themysticalspiral. And of course, my Truth Frequency Radio show is at tfrlive.com/Eye of Ra. So check out my new product. I was showing it a little bit on Leak Project. I got about 10 of them now, so they're going to go on the website tonight. Finally got them made where these actually go around the ear. Or anywhere. You could put them over your fingers, over anywhere. But this is perfect if you're using a cell phone as well. So no, it's not even a don't tread on me, you know. And you know what, when I did my Leak Project show, there were people like writing in the live chat like, oh, he's got serpents on his hat. Like, first of all, this hat was sent to me from a Muay Thai company from Thailand, and I thought it was cool, and I appreciated the gift. They sent me a jacket as well, because I've known them for friggin' years. They used to sponsor the camp I went to, and every year I put a little donation, even if it's like $10 or $20. Sometimes they send me some stuff and stickers and shit like that. So this is what they had sent me. So people are like, oh, he's like a serpent, he's representing serpents, and he's got serpent tattoo. I don't even have a snake tattoo on my arm. They said I had a snake tattoo. It's a freaking dragonfly. So they saw something sticking out of my shirt. They're like, look, he's got serpent tattoos and serpent hats. Freaking idiots. Like, you realize that we're taking hours out of our time for free. I'm taking hours out of my time for free to talk to you people and try to give you guys some interesting information and intriguing stuff. And some of the times I could help, you know, some of this information really helps change people, you know. And it's for people to start going on there and ridiculing, like, just change the channel already. I understand, like, but like you start like commenting on the dudes, like freaking everything, like trying to pick them apart, like, get the frick out of here. You know, I laugh at that kind of shit now because like that's so ridiculous. But anybody that would judge somebody, I mean, it's a freaking snake. It's not like I have like some sort of vulgar, like, I could see if there were like somebody getting like, I don't know, like abused or something, or like I had a shot this like smack your bitch up or something. Like, I can understand that that looks pretty stupid and like giving the wrong message. But whatever. I don't even like snakes, to tell you the truth. I don't like I think some of them are cool looking, but I don't like them. I don't like to touch them. I don't like to own them. Definitely not a snakey guy. But I like the hat. Yeah, no, I was just saying, somebody was commenting on it a few times. Like, it wasn't just once. Like, I did a couple of interviews wearing this hat for Rex, and like every time there's a few people that says something about it. So if I cared, I wouldn't wear it again, you know, but I wear it. So I'm gonna wear it till it friggin' looks it. I can't clean it no more, so I can't wash it clean till it gets stained. So screw y'all. But yeah, so I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to label this yet, what I'm going to call it. But it's definitely an AccuVac that could be worn around the ear. And it's pretty freaking dope. Pretty freaking dope. Let me show you guys. You guys can even pre-order if you want now. Because they're already made. See, that's made with the sacred cubit. So amazing. So when you get this, any order, you get it in a package, and I always include either a free crystal or a free amulet or some sort of or stone or grounding stone or something like that. Even some Hopi petrified wood sometimes. So you get it in something like this in the mail, in a package, and on the back I usually write like a little note of what I'm sending you with it. So it's definitely worth it, and you always get something for free. And these are life changers, man. Really are. So lately, over the last several weeks, on some of my interviews and some of my radio shows, and you know, I started mentioning this, what we call Antares, a couple of years ago, right? So I mentioned Antares, the ancient star Antares, what we call Antares, which means, I think it means like I think it means like the brother of Ares, or the warrior of Ares, or something of Ares, which is Mars, because I think they named that because of the color of it, similar to what Mars looks like. So I think that's where the term Antares came from for us. But this is an ancient place that is billions of years older than we are. That's towards the end of its life in the Scorpius cluster. It's in the Milky Way. And the literal star is a technology. And it has multiple worlds, Earth-like planets even, around it and near it, or somewhere around there associated with it. And some of those Earth worlds are going through an ascension change or a transformation time, like we are right now. And I know I don't need people to say I'm speculating, but like I said, I've received information throughout my psychic life, you know, through meditations, through psychic experiments I have done, working with crystals and tensor tools, all the places that I go, the high mountains I go in the Hudson Valley and different places. I've been recording information and writing stuff down where, you know, it's like, I guess you can describe it as me connecting to my higher self. I'm not letting something take over the body. I'm actually communicating with the higher dimensional worlds, where it's my free will, it's my choice to communicate. Where there's some times where I've had contact with what somebody would call an other dimensional being, or if you can say, and it's always asked upon me if I would like to connect, you know. And there's times I have received information that what we would call Antares, and it's the whole, you know, some of this I wanted to keep private. It's almost like talking to people about my private prayers, you know. So when I go on those, I talk about a lot of the research I've been doing that's sort of like the field work of my true experiences. And I've talked about some personal experiences I've had that are serious, but some of this information I've never let out yet to anybody, because it's, like I said, it's almost like telling you guys what I go pray about in church, right? It's really special to me, and I didn't want people to judge it in any way, right? So, and a lot of it, some of it would be like, oh, this sounds like new age woo-woo stuff. And you know, some of the new age, what they would call new age woo-woo stuff, has real information in there. But a lot of it is through channeled distortions as well. So that's why you have to be really careful. And I think I made a good case of the difference between channeling and contacting your higher dimensional system. And I did that on the League Project show, and one of my videos that are private now here on YouTube. That's only going to be for Patreon. But I talked about it on League Project. You know, there's a big difference when you're using a middleman and you're going to sleep and something is using you as an instrument. It's way different than being awake and channeling, if you want to say, or being awake and communicating telepathically. There's a big difference. And I know the difference because I have the ability to sleep and travel. And I have seen and been offered to take something on before, and this is not something you would ever want to do. You know, even in the wake state, I had something appear to me, and I've talked about it. Actually, one of the shows that I've done on Leap Project has like 300,000 something views, like 350,000 views, and it's in the X-Files playlist on Leap Project, and it's one of the first interviews I ever did with him years ago. It says Devil Meets Musician or whatever. Well, I was literally playing guitar in about 2002 on the streets of Long Beach, California, which I was doing this for a living when I was younger. For about 2.5 years, I supported myself with no family around, no nothing, just by playing guitar in the park or on the side in front of stars or whatever, just on the street for 2 years. And I got to be in bands. I got to travel with some bands just from that, doing that. And I was making over $100 a day, at least, sometimes, playing guitar. And I had an experience where, I don't want to go through the whole thing. You guys heard it before, but literally something, a human that had something either possessed in him or walk in or some sort of thing that had glowing red eyes came up to me while I was playing, literally like at midnight, and said, you know, I could basically come work for him and I'll have anything I've ever wanted. All I'd have to do is just say yes. And I looked him in the eyes and I said, thank you, but no thank you. And I sat back down. And I know it was my grandmother's energy that was like protecting me that night. I could even smell her perfume all over me during these times. So I know what it's like to experience some things like this, and it's pretty intense. And some of the information that I've received tells me that there's ancient races that come from what we call Antares. Even my daughter's name, Tana, is actually an ancient Italian and Greek name that means star goddess. And we have the Tanaric mystics, right? And even there's certain sacred lakes in the world that are called the Tanakh. You know, even the Bible and sacred writings in Hebrew they call the Tanakh, right? Or, you know, so it's a famous ancient word. And in Italian, the Tanaric mystics are the ones that hold the stellar mysteries. Well, I was told that these sort of beings they don't speak like we do. They have telepathic words, but they had ascended from a 3D sort of type of atmosphere as well. But they at one time had a civilization that would be translated, or the meaning in our world would be Tanara, like that. I think this was is an ancient name that is associated with what we call Antares, and that when they came here long ago was for this reason. Their planet, there was something going on where they needed to find a new home or something like this, or something was going on, and it's related to getting rid of negative energy. And something happened where they made a soul contract agreement, because these ancient beings, their whole purpose is getting rid of negative energy and sort of like helping a harmonic transformation happen. And they get rid of negative energy in certain ways, and there's multiple different races that are associated with this area, and some of them are not good and some of them are good, but they help get rid of negative energy. And long ago they made some sort of soul contract agreement to start incarnating or walk in to help with the harmonic frequencies on this planet. And during Atlantean times, or ancient civilization, if you want to call them Atlantis, they were having a problem with the quantum technology that was emerging, and it was a mixture between crystals and multi-dimensional, like quantum technology, where things were evolving and colliding, like dimensions started to collide in a way, and they were evolving through this sort of like bad harmonic frequency way, the way we are right now, what's happening right now on our planet, what's starting to happen again. So they made some sort of soul contract agreement to have these races incarnate on this planet. And they started incarnating long ago. And then at the fall of Atlantis, there was a comet impact brought. And world was wiped clean, started again, right? So now, again in the 1980s, in the late 1980s, during the time of my near-death experience, starting in 1987 when the harmonic convergence was happening, these ancient beings started to incarnate again to help, you know, certain places in the world like New York and Los Angeles and different places were starting to have that same vibrational energy, that dark vibrational energy that contributed to the fall of Atlantis. So these souls started to come. They had to fulfill their soul contract agreement again, and they have come here. And there's other races that are related to this that come from that area, and some of them are mantid type, and some of them are not good. Some of them are good, and some of them are not good. And a lot of people that are Italian, Greek, Persian, Spaniards, Native Americans, a lot of the olive and copper skin that we see on this planet have what we would call Antarian DNA, right? Or from Antares, what we would call Antares, right? So I mean, it goes way deeper than that. It's releasing some of the information that I've received, and then what's interesting is that other people that I've talked to, you know, throughout my last few years, certain information that they received is very similar. So I do feel that's part of who I am, you know, that a lot of us are related to this, and these beings can basically be called watchers or Grigori or ancient races that my ancestors didn't fully understand. I think every generation starts to understand more and more, and it gets clearer. They were worshiping them almost as ancient spirits, ancient gods, right? But they are the ones that watch over spiritual energy, and they are the ones that watch over gateways and stargates. Right? There's a whole hierarchy and a whole bunch of different races throughout the galaxies. People don't realize. And some of them cannot deal with 3D at all, the vibrational energy. Some of them we have to go to a 4D state to communicate with. Some of them are 6th and 7th dimension beings, you know, and they cannot handle the 3D at all. In fact, one of these beings tried to incarnate on our planet. And if you look up the Copper Man story, was when one of these beings actually tried to come into 3D, and their bodies could not handle it and had to go back into the waters. And there's a story that I've talked about on my show where a Copper Man, I think it was like in the 1700s or 1800s, I have it written down somewhere, he literally came out of the waters and people saw him on the beach, and then he retreated back in. It wasn't because he was scared, it was because his body could not handle the frequency, the vibration of this planet. Let me see what's going on in the chat room. Just got goosebumps right now. No doubt. No doubt. It's spelled T-A-N-N-A-R, Tanara. N-A-R-A, yeah. You know, even my daughter's name is Tana, which is basically an ancient Italian and Greek word that means star goddess or fire goddess. And my family line has been called in the Italian hereditary, like, you know, and I'm talking throughout thousands of years ago, even hundreds of years ago. Certain areas from exactly where my family's from in Italy, I have been shown that that's part of who I am. That's part of my ancestry. Whether you call it shamanism or mysticism or whatever. In ancient Italy, they would call the Tanaric mystics, the ones that hold the stellar mysteries. And I do feel that's part of my soul mission here, is to help get rid of the negative energy on this planet through in people and in other people. And that's the war throughout my life, you know. And a lot of these people that have soul contracts, you know, all us humans do. There's a reason why you're here. You made an agreement to come here. It's just a matter of finding your purpose and your origins. You know, we are breathing in an amnesia when we wake up in this realm, when we're born. And it is related to, I don't know if it's completely because of this mantid species, but there is a mantis species that is trying to help, and there's a mantis species that is trying to hurt, if you want to say. And some are not getting involved directly, but they try to, you know, influence in certain ways. But the ones that get involved directly are literally mining our dream time. This is why we aren't retaining information. People aren't returning information when they wake up. And this is why you even wake up and you don't feel regenerated. You want to linger for 10 or 15 minutes. Think about that. Somebody could sleep for 10 hours. Have slept for 10 hours every night for the last 2 weeks. Have a normal life, pretty much, right? Not drinking, not partying, and they can wake up after 10 hours of sleep and linger for 10 or 15 minutes and still feel tired when they wake up. You should wake up immediately, sit up, and feel regenerated. That's a real good sleep where nothing was interfered, you know, with no interference. When you're waking up and lingering, there's some sort of interference going on, or some sort of reason. And it's all spiritually related. Your physical symptoms are all spiritually related, and it just eventually manifests through every layer of your body until there's physical results. And this is how to help. Tensor tools are not a cure, but they are a remedy. TheMysticalSpiralStore.com. Yeah. Alright, so I gotta go for now. Hope you guys are supporting me in the chat room. You guys support me at TheMysticalSpiralStore.com. Patreon.com/TheMysticalSpiral. Join Patreon today. I mean, literally join for as low as $2 a month. So everybody out there should be helping support me. It's really hard. We're barely just getting by here at the Mystical Spiral and exploring the Ka. So check me out. I know I'll be doing a show within the next few days again with Rex from Leak Project. So I'll see you guys there. I will see you. Yeah, Melinda, see Raven Angel, they all can relate. Love you guys. Love you guys too, man. Spiral out.